The DRIVETRIBE M3 Touring has put in a hell of a stint so far as the king of the road trip. We're giving the keys one more time for a pilgrimage to Cathedral of Motoring, the Nürburgring.
The most picturesque and difficult motor racing circuit in the world, the Nürburgring.
The reason I'm here in the M5 is because 2007 was the last time that BMW decided to make an M-powered estate car. But now, that has all changed. BMW has invited us to the first proper drive of this, the new G81 M3 Touring. It promises to blend speed with luggage capacity for those that like a bit of practicality in their performance cars. An M estate is a very rare thing, so let's see what this new breed is all about. Okay, so this isn't just any fast BMW estate. This is an M3, so it needs to be pin sharp to live up to that M Sport reputation. And I imagine the best way to explore that is to be going through the settings and the different modes to see how they affect the balance and the performance of this competition model car. So, first things first, what does the M3 Touring feel like out of the box without delving into all those important modes? Now already, I can tell you that it feels pretty damn crisp. Beautiful handling, very balanced, intuitive, so it's quite easy to drive this thing, and the braking grip is phenomenal. It's got a lovely balance on turn-in, and it presents the power very efficiently through this four-wheel drive system. The only thing I notice is perhaps just as I tease the throttle, it's almost imperceptible, but the traction control is working there to contain this 510 horsepower and feed it smoothly down the road. So it's a good start. Time for a brief pause to turn things up a bit. All right, so currently everything's in efficient, comfort and four-wheel drive. I'm going to switch the engine across to Sport. That's going to give me a bit more linear throttle. Chassis to Sport, so that's going to stiffen the car up. I'm happy with the steering, so I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to put four-wheel drive into Sport, and I'm going to take a little bit of traction control off. We're going to go from DSC on to MDM, which is M Sport Dynamic Mode. MDM, I like to call it medium, because it's in between traction on and totally off. That's it. Didn't take too long. And if I want to, I can bespoke a little bit more, save it on the M button, and one touch and it's done. So, in the standard mode, I was aware that it was a little bit more tame. Now, the rear is freeing up that little bit more. I can tilt the car into the corner a bit more and get it to stand up on the way out of the corner. Oh, yes! It just goes to show how much development has taken place in the last 15 years from the DRIVETRIBE the G-force braking M5 to this monster. Just teasing it on the power. But what about when you turn traction control off? Now it's just you and the car. No computer safety net keeping you on the black stuff, but it's still surprisingly composed. The all-wheel drive still working hard for you. As I'm powering down hard here, very difficult to get it sideways. Not because it's not allowing me to send power to the rear, but it's just keen to fling you out of the corner as best you can. I mean, the way this car drives, it's almost like it's got a gigantic front splitter and a rear wing, which it doesn't really have. It's a road car, making the most of standard road tyres, if you can call them that. Michelin PS4S, they are grippy, so I can be fairly rude with the throttle, and she supports me. Slightly too fast into that one, but I got away with it. It's a bloody Grand Prix track. This is a family estate. What's it doing? left really to do is stick it in the rear wheel drive mode and really find out what this car is like back in the old-fashioned, old-school M3 way. It's a very familiar feeling. They've lost none of their DNA. It's actually pretty much where they left off. It's very agile. This car's got more grip, I think, than some of the M3s I've driven in the past. It is a little bit heavier, but I really honestly can't say I feel that as a driver, just because the balance is so good. I mean, weight tends to reveal itself under braking and corner entry, and the brakes are so powerful with this. I've done quite a few laps in succession now, and it's quite amazing. These steel brakes are absolutely living up to the punishment I'm giving them, and the handling is so precise. I've got a nice balance there on turn in, feeding the power in. I'm not aware of any weight. And here we go, this nice linear progress on the power. Beautiful. And this is very much the beating heart of the M3, with the dual purpose of four-wheel drive when you want it. The main difference really with rear-wheel drive versus the 4 on this is just getting used to the fact that you don't have as much punch out the corner. It's a human thing. You just have to accept that you're faster in four-wheel drive than you are in rear. But there's no doubt, for purists, people like me, who love to twitch the tail on the way out of a corner, having the ability to engage rear-wheel drive, it's really, really cool. Lovely. So, on to the next test. This is an estate car, so as well as being fast, it needs to be effortlessly practical. A former curly-haired colleague of mine once said that the M5 Touring was wunderbar, because you can drive it at very high speeds with a Labrador in the back. So wouldn't you know it, DRIVETRIBE have given me their own dog, Wolfgang. He's a regular at the ring. Happy in the back, aren't you there, Wolfgang? Thought so. And this car is quite practical. There is actually some leg space for the, well, frankly terrified passengers in the back seat with what I'm doing, but there is plenty of leg room in this car. When I first leaned into the driver's seat and I saw these really unreal carbon chairs, when I first looked at these I thought, oh no, they're going to be these rigid carbon shells, you can't adjust the seat. Actually you can. You can move them up, down, and you can tilt the back to get yourself into a comfortable position. And now that I'm in it, it's like being on the Starship Enterprise. You're locked into that chair ready for warp speed, and that is what this car's delivering. So Wolfgang, I think it's time for our next test. Give me 1 bark for 0 to 60, 2 barks for drifting. Good man. 2 barks it is. Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh well, some things just don't change with BMW. Such a perfect combination because you've got all that space back there in an estate car that'll take you wherever your heart desires. If that's the track, you just strap all the cargo down and drive straight on out. And if you want to engage rear-wheel drive and go purist, have at it. You've got 2 cars in one basically, with all the benefits of a 4-wheel drive estate car that can handle all weather conditions. Wolfgang, are you a fan of the X-Drive? I thought so. Now that's all very well, but I've got one more test up my sleeve that every M3 has to pass, whether it's a Touring or not, and that is the infamous Apple test from my old days on Top Gear. And famously, Jeremy Clarkson bet me that I couldn't hit an apple with pinpoint precision on the apex of a corner while drifting through, and I had an E92 M3 that proved him wrong. Now, Jeremy had 2 bites of the apple and failed miserably. To pass the apple test, you have to hit the apple on the first take. Game on. Now, to pass the apple test, you need a car that's predictable, controllable, powerful and accurate. Let's see if it's got the mustard. Mission accomplished, I'd say. I'll give you the G81 M3 Touring. Wolfgang, yum yums. It's taken BMW nigh on 15 years to bring the Touring name back to the M lineup. This is a V10 masterpiece, and that has to be the best family performance car of 2022. It might be the best family estate car ever made. Now, come on, Wolfgang, let's go home.